Welcome back to the channel. I'm Walt, my lovely wife Charla, and today we're going to talk about co-parenting. Now, as we are parents, I'm pretty sure you, that as the viewer that's watching, may be a parent, you may not be a parent, you may want to be a parent. As you well know, parent is not easy.
At all.
It's not easy. And co-parenting is even tougher because you may have grown up with a different background than your companion. Charlotte and I definitely have. And basically, you have to work together when it comes to co-parenting. Everyone who has a child has somebody that they have to co-parent with, whether it's the significant other.
Not always.
Yeah, not always. Insignificant other. Could be the grandma, could be the grandpa, could be.
Well, some people, they do surrogacy. So
True enough. Yes, absolutely. True
or
enough.
they go to the sperm bank and they have their own child. So they don't always have to co-parent with someone.
They don't have to co-parent, but they may have somebody in their life that wants to be a parent as well, like a mom or a dad that tries to jump in and say, "Oh, well, you're not doing it right. You're not supposed to do that." And today we're going to talk about how we try to do our best to co-parent together. Because again, as I've said, it's not easy and you have to work together. We try to be on common ground, but of course, there are some things that we do differently. So I'm going to let Charlotte talk about, how she was raised. I'll jump into how I was raised, and then we'll dive into what we try to do to co-parent together.
So where do I start? I was raised in a mostly single parent home up until about third grade. And it was tough. It was tough for my mom, but she did what she had to do to raise us. She put the fear of God in us. I love you, Mom. But I mean, she did. She put the fear of God in us, and we didn't talk back to her. There may, teenagers, kids, we all have our moments, but
Yeah.
I mean, we were very respectful of our mother. We did not curse around our mother. We still don't curse around our mother.
Oh, yeah. No, not at all.
And we just, Mom, I don't want to say she was strict because we got to do things. We got to go out. We got to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy our friends, except for when she was at work during the day. We could not go outside. We couldn't go outside. But we got to do quite a bit of stuff. We traveled. She took us out doing stuff. So I don't want to say she was strict, but she was a tough mom, but only because she had to be.
Right.
She had to be.
Right.
She was raising 4 children by herself. And it was tough. It was tough. And we seen it. There were some things we seen. There were some things we didn't. I probably seen a lot more than some of my siblings because I was always on my tip, So, so that's kind of how we were raised. We just, we were respectful of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't play. Mom didn't play.
No.
She didn't play.
No, she's excellent. Just to jump in really quick, and knowing my mother-in-law for 16 plus years, she can roll with the best of them. And she is just a go-getter. She's always on the go. Yeah. At the age that she is, you would think that she was 20 years younger. She can roll faster than me, but not to cut you off. She's excellent. She's great.
Mom is great. Mom is great. She has lots of energy, and you would still think that my mom is looking at her. You think she's like in her 50s, early 50s or so. Like she's just
absolutely.
She does good for herself. She's doing her own business, and she's wonderful. She was a great mom. Okay, so let's talk about Mama.
Well, just like Charlotte, primarily I grew up in a single parent household. And my mother, I grew up in the church as well. However, my mother, she worked a lot. So she put her trust in me to make the right decisions and to make right choices. As I've said, growing up in a single parent household, you only have that one parent that is trying to teach you and trying to help you to grow. And with my mother, I saw the hard work that she did. And I love my mother unconditionally. And I try to do the best that I can to make her proud. So I, play sports. I tried to keep up with my grades. Um, Whenever she would go to work, she worked second shift. So basically, when I got home, I had the house to myself. And I could have been one of those kids where I could have been out in the streets doing bad stuff. But my mother never got a phone call from the police saying, hey, we just arrested your son for doing something.
Right.
And, she's always been a hard worker.
We were too scared to get in trouble.
She was too scared. Me, on the other hand, I just wanted to do the best that I could for my mother. And I wanted to make her proud, like I said.
Yeah.
My mother, she loves her children. She does everything that she can for her children. And my father...
She still does.
She still does. Yes, she still does. Not for me, but I have siblings who are younger than I am that she goes over the moon for. But, that's a mother's love. But my father, he's in my life for some part of my time frame. And the more support I got was from my mother. So I just wanted to be the best man for our children, emulating off of what I learned somewhat from my dad, but also a lot from what I learned from my mother. And that's just how I became the person that I am. I love everyone. Charlotte loves everyone. But we have two different parenting styles. And, it's not easy when you come from a household where there might be a little bit more strictness, from a household that was kind of like a
I hate using the word strictness. It's not really strict.
It's not really strict. She was just...
It's more of...
Judgment Day.
No. It is not Judgment Day. It's just having a, just... We'll get there. Listen, but it's not strictness.
It's not strictness. She just wanted her children to do what was right. Am I answering that question?
There was no question.
There wasn't a question. I felt like there was. Well, here's my statement. She wanted her children to do what was right and follow the rules.
Who?
Your mother.
Oh, my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she wasn't... That's what I said. So she wasn't strict. Anyway, let's move on.
She wasn't strict.
So let's talk about my parenting style. My parenting style is a little bit similar to my mom. Maybe not exactly like my mom, but, because I did not have the... You're smiling too much. I did not have the, so I didn't have to raise my children alone. Let me just say that. I didn't have, I wasn't a single parent mom.
Yes.
I did have a little bit of time where I was kind of a single parent mom, but, and it was stressful, but it was not for a long period of time, which was a blessing. I met Walter whenever my first child was 3. He had just turned 3.
Yeah.
And he's been in his life ever since. So, and people would think that was his son. Like he just treated him no different, and just a big, huge blessing. I mean, even his own friends, like back from his hometown, were like
college and high school.
Man, I didn't know you had a son. Walt will go along with it. He's like, oh yeah, this is my boy.
Then they'll be like, yeah, not my biological, but he's my son.
Sometimes you didn't correct him. So
I let it ride.
It was just really sweet.
I let it ride.
And so with my parenting style, I am that type of mother where I want my children to be independent. I don't want them to have to depend on anyone or anything else. I want them to be able to get out in the world and survive, and to be safe, and to make good choices, make good friends. And so I tighten the reins a little bit more than Walt does. And I make my children responsible at a very early age. So I believe that you start young with your children. Start young.
Train them young.
With making them independent, teaching them how to do things for themselves and not wait on other people or depend on other people. And sometimes you do have to wait, but So that's kind of my parenting style. Well, what would you say your parenting style is?
Well, my parenting style is, just like Charlotte
Same
said,
thing.
my parenting style is kind of like my mother. I'm not as hard on the kids that are growing up. They will learn how to, develop independence and things like that. I'm more of the caregiver per se. I try to do a lot for our two boys to a certain aspect, but um, you know, I do a lot of threatening and not very much action when it comes to it afterwards, because it's like, okay, that last threaten, I get up and go move and get something, and the kids, they, oh, okay, 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 and then I just melt after that, like, okay, I can't, okay. But as far as my parenting style is I of course everyone can do better when it comes to parenting, but I think that I do a pretty good job with it. I want our kids to not have to have this bubble to where they can't be able to do specific things, a little bit more freedoms, especially on the weekends,
Or even talk to us about certain things.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's something that I try to incorporate, but I also want them to be able to enjoy some of the things that, we should be able to enjoy as kids. So, weekends, when I get up in the morning time, it's right to the TV, 80s baby. So cartoons will come on to watch wrestling in the morning time, early in the morning. So
What would my weekends for the kids look like?
oh boy, the weekends for the kids is chores. Can't get anything until we do chores.
That's right.
12 o'clock,
Listen,
2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Listen, you come home from school, do your homework, get a snack.
Yes.
Do your homework, then you can play. You can go outside and play with your friends. You can go watch television, but get your responsibilities done. Well,
listen, it's come home from school. You get about an hour to just relax, watch TV. I play your game, but now we have to bring that in because sometimes the children, they get so attached to their device that nothing else matters. And it's like, well, you didn't throw away your trash. You didn't make your bed up, or you got the TV on upstairs and you're downstairs. What's up with that? And you're in your phone or computer or your devices. So, we had to bring it on in.
So Walt likes to also wait on our children hand and foot.
Oh my goodness. Let's not even go there.
But he does.
We're not going to go there because we still have someone that comes in the bed and she's like, oh, daddy, let him stay. Oh goodness.
Listen, guys, when is your last child? Okay, so with my first child, I was very, very strict. Like,
there's that word.
No.
Wait a minute. There's that word.
Let me finish what I'm saying. I was
very,
very strict about not allowing him to sleep in the bed with people. So I wanted him to not be scared of the dark. I wanted him to be able to sleep in his room alone. So for the first year of his life, and this is my oldest, for the first year of his life,
our oldest,
for the first year of his life, I slept in the same room as he did, and he slept in his crib. And then once he turned 1, then we let him sleep in his own room by himself.
Right. Yeah.
So, with the second one, it was like, okay, this is our last one because I don't want any more kids. And when Walt was done, we were like, we're done.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, like try to relax a little bit. So you kind of learn things with the first kids that you and
you have your second child.
Yeah, you have your second child.
Yeah.
Walt did. So anyway, Walt needs to just kind of. This
is the whole thing about co-parenting.
But he's that way too, though. Like he's like, oh, okay, you can stay in the bed.
Oh, here she goes. Now she's calling me out here.
So yeah.
Now she's calling me out.
He's getting a little too old to be in our bed, but you know what? I feel like it's going to go on for a few more years.
No. It can't go on for a few more years. He's getting big. Kids grow. You as a parent, the kids, depending on how old your child is, they start eating, they start stretching out.
Yep.
And of course, when you have a child in your bed with you, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Even in a king size bed, they're just kicking you. You're on the edge of the bed. You're trying to fight for covers. Their elbow hits you in the face. We all go through that if you have your child in the bed with you at times.
But as time has gone on, I mean,
Yeah.
after having our child together, I mean, even with our oldest, we have learned to co-parent. We have learned to
Work together.
come
Mhm.
together,
Yeah.
and figure things out. Because kids, like the first one, guys, he was easy. He was kind of an easy
Very
job.
easy.
That second one,
Oh.
he is like, he will play. Perfect example today. He comes downstairs. No, he kind of told on himself. He comes downstairs and he says, Mommy, Daddy says it's too late for me to have marshmallows. And I said, oh, he did? And, and I'm washing dishes. And then he goes,
here he goes.
Mommy, can I have a marshmallow? And I said, well, what did Daddy say? And he was like, oh, he said it's too late. And I was like, well, I said, I'm sorry, I can't go against Daddy. I said, well,
Right.
no, I'm not sorry. And that was the whole conversation. But,
Yeah.
I said, but Mommy, if Daddy said no, then I can't, give you marshmallows.
Right.
So, he told him. So if he came downstairs and said, Mommy, can I have marshmallows? I would have gave it to him, not knowing that Daddy told him no. So anyways, it's things like that. If Daddy says no, we try to stick with that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Daddy says no.
We try to stick with that, but also if we have a disagreement, we pull each other off to the side. We don't let our children see us argue or have a disagreement. Sometimes, you can't avoid it depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
So we do try to talk to each other about, hey, if I say no, you can't just say yes to them, especially if you hear me say no.
Right.
So, sometimes you have to come to common ground to make sure that you both are raising the kids together, or your child together. It's not going to be easy. It's not easy for us still. We still have disagreements on things, and it's just because of how we are. We were raised from two different households. We were raised differently in a certain aspect as far as, laissez-faire. I want him to do this, this, and this first before he gets to have fun time. So my advice to anyone that is parenting together, work together to be on common ground.
Yes.
Compromise.
Some conversations need to be held later, not in that moment.
Correct.
It's
yes.
not appropriate for that moment.
Yes. Pillow talk.
Have that conversation
Right.
later, because
Exactly.
Sometimes you need to be like, "Ooh, I didn't realize that's what you're okay with," or you're fine with our kids doing that, and I'm not.
Right.
I'm not okay with that. So,
Right.
some of that you just got to kind of hash out,
Mhm.
off to the side.
Yeah.
I get a little frustrated with Walt with some stuff, so I'm like,
bad because I'm bad.
Very.
I'm bad, but listen,
Very.
I'm a good bad. I'm a good bad. I'm a.
So Walt will do some stuff, and because I am the way that I am, I think sometimes he's just like, oh, whatever. You're just like, just whatever. And so I'm just like,
she's telling me now. She's telling on me. So listen, guys. Hey, let the mother handle that, because you're going to get told on, because we are sometimes, and it depends on who you are. But me, like I said, is like, oh, just let him do it. No, he don't need to do that. But,
Yeah.
of course.
So we have our moments, but listen, just try to work together, have some conversations off to the side.
Yes.
When your kids see that you're at odds, they're going to learn how to play you. They're going to be like, ooh, I see mommy's all over daddy, so I'm going to just catch daddy in secret and ask daddy whenever mommy's not looking. Our son does it. So when it comes to games, because he begs for a game almost every day, he's like,
gosh.
He never asks mommy for a game. He asks daddy for a game. And guess who gives it to him? Daddy. And we'll say, no games this week. Don't ask for any more game. And then next thing I know, he got a new game. So, he knows.
Yeah, he knows. He knows how to play us.
But if he wants to come into the bed and snuggle, it's mommy he comes to.
Yeah.
He ain't going to go to daddy, because he know daddy going to say no.
Yes.
So kids just learn how to manipulate the situation and manipulate parents,
yes,
so they can get what they want. knowing that, hey, we have not came together on this to say, hey, let's not do this, or we're not doing this week, so
Right.
so just do that. Just come
Yeah,
together and,
yeah.
and just have an agreement. Whenever you see something that one parent does and the other one doesn't, just be like, we'll have to have a conversation about this later.
Yes. Yeah. And so, in closing of this particular video here, just try to work together with that other person that you are trying to raise a child with, because
Even if you're not married,
even if it doesn't,
not
you
in
don't
the
have
same
to be,
household.
you don't have to be married to co-parent. You don't have to be in the same household to co-parent, but you have to co-parent, and you have to make sure that you guys are on common ground with raising your child, because our children are our future, and the way that we teach our child is the way that they were going to grow up to be. And so children, they are sponges. So if they see negative arguments, they're going to disagreements,
consistent
fighting,
yeah,
violence, whatever it is, they're going to take that, and it's going to attach to them. And when they get older, they might emulate that same thing
in relationships
and even friendships. So, parent is not easy, but you can always work to get better at it, because nobody's perfect.
Mm-mm.
So listen, thank you for hanging out with us.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and leave comments below.
Yes, please do. Leave comments below. We'd like to know, we would like any tips.
Tell us if you're like Walt or like me. Are you
Absolutely?
Do you have the laissez-faire parenting?
Yes.
Or are you kind of like, we're not saying strict, but do you have a tighter grip on your children to say, no,
tighter grip?
These are just a bit tighter.
Listen.
But that's, I think that's a good thing to have. I think it's a good balance, honestly.
Absolutely.
It's a good balance.
You got to have a good balance.
Because, there's times where I might feel that Walt has been a little like, you were a little harsh,
Mm-hmm.
But, coming together, and each parent, you get tired. You just have your days and your moments.
Yeah.
So, just come together and figure out a good parenting style that works for you all, for the better health of your children. Because honestly, guys, they take this stuff into the future with them. How we raise them. And,
yes.
We may think we did a great job, and these kids come back and like, oh, Mom, do you remember this? You remember when you did that? Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's like weird, the stuff that they keep with them. But,
oh, yes. But as we've said, thank you for visiting our channel. Yes. Like Charla said, don't forget to hit the like, comment, and also hit the notification bell. We will try to post videos on a weekly basis. We talk about travel. We talk about parenting, health, wellness. She's the nurse. She always loved my veins. And I'm just going to leave you with that. Thank you again. Spread this video. Any parents out there, new parents, old parents, and see if they can relate. Peace.
See ya.